Evolution of Grand Theft Auto. Hi, welcome to our channel. Today we talk about the evolution of our favorite game Grand Theft Auto. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. So let's get started. Life of crime. While the Grand Theft Auto series rose to prominence when it transitioned to 3D with Grand Theft Auto 3, it had already been around for several years at that point. From its early days to GTA 5's release and subsequent 4 years of success, GTA has become one of gaming's most influential franchises ever over its 20-year history, helping to redefine open-world design and gameplay. Grand Theft Auto. Release date, October 1997. The first Grand Theft Auto must look archaic to fans of the more modern entries of the series. Its top-down perspective and jagged polygonal graphics are a far cry from the expansive, detailed city spaces we've come to expect. However, the game is still as crime-focused, mature, and violent as the series' subsequent entries. At the time, Grand Theft Auto was a pioneering game that helped introduce the concept of open-world design to action games with its freeform, objective-based missions. Grand Theft Auto, London 1969. Release date, April 1999. Grand Theft Auto, London 1969 is an expansion for the first game. It introduced a new city to explore and expanded the number of cars to drive and activities to take part in, though it didn't change the formula of the original. Notably, London 1969 was the first standalone expansion pack to ever release on PS1. Grand Theft Auto 2. Release date PC, September 1999. While not the genre-redefining step that its successor would become, Grand Theft Auto 2 was a solid step forward that expanded on the groundwork established by the first game. Its major evolutionary shift came from its mission design. Instead of being forced through a linear sequence of missions, you now had the choice to freely accept missions from different, often opposing gangs at any time. This created a chain of events that influenced how gangs perceived you. Grand Theft Auto 3. Release date PC, May 2002. While Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 were both proofs of concept for what an open-world action game could be, it was Grand Theft Auto 3 that took that idea to the next level. Unlike in its predecessors, you were free to walk from a third-person perspective through a living, breathing 3D city. This simple shift in perspective increased your immersion within its world. Grand Theft Auto, Vice City. Release date PC, May 12, 2003. Released a year after GTA 3, Grand Theft Auto, Vice City was an iterative sequel that expanded on 3's framework. It offered an even more detailed city that was packed with new missions and vehicle types, like motorcycles and helicopters. Amid subtle quality of life improvements, one of the game's major additions was the ability to purchase businesses and properties, allowing you to increase your revenue stream and feel like you were making a mark on the game world. Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas. Release date PC and Xbox, June 7, 2005. The third and final entry in what became known as the GTA series 3D universe, Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas again built on the previous two games while taking players to another radically different setting. At the time, San Andreas's world was staggeringly large, which is just as well, as it needed that space to facilitate the newly introduced trains and planes. The latter finally provided a more rapid form of air transport, as previous games limited players to helicopters, the hard-to-fly Dodo, and, in Vice City, a single seaplane. Grand Theft Auto, Liberty City Stories. Release date PS2, June 6, 2006. Although it's been forgotten by many, Grand Theft Auto, Liberty City Stories was a significant game for the series. It marked the first 3D GTA game released on a handheld, bringing a comparable version of Liberty City from GTA 3 to PlayStation Portable. It also introduced a 6-player local multiplayer mode, marking the franchise's first foray outside of single-player. Grand Theft Auto 4. Release date PC, December 2, 2008. As the first numbered entry in the series in more than 6 years and the beginning of what's known as the HD universe, Grand Theft Auto 4 set out to provide some major new innovations with mixed results. With a shift toward a slightly more mature, darker narrative, it provided players with moral choices such as whether or not to let a character live that could impact the story. These didn't radically alter things and were limited in number, but they marked an attempt by the series to try something new. Grand Theft Auto 5. Release date. PC, April 14, 2015. Grand Theft Auto V is in many ways a culmination of everything the series has been building towards since its inception. The game grew both its single-player and multiplayer portions in significant ways, resulting in an experience that's far more multifaceted than its predecessors. So this is the evolution of Grand Theft Auto. Please subscribe to our channel and like this video.